Oh, second time lucky there. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Hope you're having a lovely day. Welcome back to the WHO Bulletin, a weekly show here on YouTube where we talk about Doctor Who, and we are getting closer and closer to the wonderful 60th anniversary specials, and it's begun. This is the month now. By the end of this week, by the time we go to our next episode of the WHO Bulletin next Tuesday, we will have seen David Tennant play the 14th Doctor on screen for a 5-minute minisode, and today we're going to be talking about that and all the other news that's been announced in the last week since the last episode of the WHO Bulletin. But first of all, before we do that, welcome to everyone who is joining the stream. I'm going to say hello to all of you lovely lot. Cybernova DW, who was here very early, thanks for tuning in. Time Lord 2023, Paul Malley, Yo George, it's ace to see your show. Very good, love to see that. I know you, I see what you did there, I see you. Alternate 13th, welcome to the stream. SK, Jack Bennett, DTP, Michael, Cyberman, Alf, Paracore, I don't even know. Hey, shake a leg. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Hope you're having a lovely, lovely Tuesday. You know what? You know what it is? I'm trying to be more organised. Alternate 13th. I did have a pot pie. I had a sausage roll today, and I ate it before the stream because I didn't want to sit and chew on stream. But I do have some cookies, which I might tuck into. Not now, though. Don't tempt yourself, George. Don't tempt yourself. Temptation is the work of the devil. I'm not religious. That's odd. YouTube is slightly more out of sync than usual. Yes, I was very early, by about an hour. Baracko. Hello there. Always out of sync? I mean, it's kind of out of sync. YouTube's always tends to be kind of out of sync, but not massively. Like, Twitch is pretty good with that, though. So if you're joining on later for the Twitch stream, that's pretty close to being in sync. YouTube is a few seconds off. So, welcome, Abbas Nuno. Does this make me the devil tempting you to eat food on stream? Technically yes, but not particularly. Welcome, Shells Kyle. Hello to you too. Yeah, very, very exciting time. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Should we jump right in? Should we go with some of the not like less important news, but like less exciting news? Because obviously there's like the big news today, which is obviously very exciting. But I don't want to just randomly, I don't want to waste that before people start arriving if people miss it. But yeah, let's head over. Let's talk on Twitter. Let's have a look at the latest Doctor Who news from the main official page. It's great that like pretty much all of the stuff like Doctor Who news-wise is basically from the main page, so you can just kind of look at it in one place. So the big news is Nicola Collahan, or Collan, I've probably mispronounced that horrendously, is in the next series of Doctor Who, in Series 2 of Shooties, or Season 2, or Series 15, whatever you want to call it. She's going to be in that. She's been spotted filming anyway, in this costume, to be exact, for next year's Christmas special. But we don't know anything about her character. A lot of people are theorising she might be a new companion. Millie Gibson apparently hasn't been spotted on set as of yet for the filming of Series 15 or Season 2. So there's a lot of hints as to this being a potential new companion, but I don't know. I'm not 100% sold on that quite yet. So, yes, let's have a quick look at what else is on here. Make a big impact, all the sort of big words. I'm excited to join the Whoniverse under the leadership of the I can't even fucking pronounce that. Inimitable Russell T Davis. I've been a fan of Ncuti Gatwa for some time, and getting to share the screen with him as the Doctor has been an absolute joy. Showrunner Russell T Davis says, "This has been the most brilliant shoot, with Nicola lighting up the set and bringing joy from Derry via Bridgerton to the TARDIS. It's the trip of a lifetime." Yeah, so it doesn't actually say anything about her role. If anything, I think it actually describes... Yeah, so Nicola is set to make her big screen impact when she takes the trip through time and space in this exciting, undisclosed role, which implies to me that it's some sort of secret. They don't want to talk too much about it. A lot of people saying potentially Ruby's mum, but I'm getting the vibe, especially maybe from the outfit, that this is like a sort of modern day kind of shtick. I don't think this is like a thing that would... It depends on how they do that. Let me just read the chat from what everyone else is saying as well, just so I've got a track on everything. Welcome to the stream, Doctor Master. 2024 Christmas special. Yeah, that is true, I believe. It's not this year, but next year's Christmas special that she's been spotted in. I think a lot of people were talking about her potentially being spotted during Series 14 / Season 1 filming anyway. We're getting announcements for Streety's second season. We haven't got to his first yet, which is a brilliant thing. I know a lot of people might see that as spoiling, maybe. But I kind of love that. I kind of love that we're getting all this information, and we're also like this far ahead, so we know we're at least getting a couple series out of this. Always the theory that Ruby's from the future. Could be. Could very well be, to be fair. Could very well be. Turns out she's a major returning villain and we don't know anything yet. Oh yeah, she could be the Rani! Adam Hassel, welcome to the stream. Michael, I was wanting a Derry girl to play a companion before Millie was announced, so I'm excited to see Nicola in the show in whatever role she's playing. Yeah, me too. I don't really know anything. I haven't actually seen Derry Girls, I have to say. I haven't actually seen it, so I don't know if I can make much of a comment on how she is as an actress. I've seen Barbie, I don't particularly remember her in it, but yeah, that's cool. We'll talk about the spin-off in just a bit when we got a little bit more, you know, a little bit more air, a bit more steam. We're a bit more further into the story. What are we seeing here first? This was all last. We all think this was already out, wasn't it? By the time we got to that, I'm trying to remember when. So yeah, November 7th was when the Doctor Who magazine was kind of announced. That's the thing else we've got to talk about as well. Is we have actually got, for one of the first times ever, because I don't really buy magazines very often, but I have actually got the latest Doctor Who magazine. And I'm not going to spoil too much from it, because I think there's a lot to talk about from this magazine, which is really, really exciting. And the interviews are brilliant, so you guys definitely need to check it out. But we'll talk about a couple of things about the actual episodes themselves. So the Star Beast article is ram-packed with stuff, very in detail. Tells you a lot of exciting stuff, gives you a few quotes from the story as well. There's one from the Doctor which says, "I've got this friend called Donna Noble and she was the best friend in the whole wide universe. I absolutely love her." Oh, do I say things like that now? Which is interesting. Again, that's a big indicator, along with a few stories today, basically indicating that, 14th Doctor is going to be more human than the 10th Doctor was, more down to earth. I don't think the 10th Doctor would have ever said that, but if it's basically David Tennant, but with less of the ego from the 10th Doctor, and more of the, I don't know, the appreciation and kind of person-to-person connection. But the interesting one is of Wild Blue Yonder, which doesn't give away anything at all, but has like a 2-page article about the episode without saying anything. The interesting detail that a lot of people have pointed out, that it's in the magazine. You do get a lot of the information and you get a cast list. I don't think you can really see that from there. I'm not going to I can't. But reading out what it says is, if you compare the Star Beast one, where it's like starring David Tennant, Catherine Tate, Yasmin Finney, Miriam Margolyes, Jacqueline King, Carl Collins, Ruth Madley, Jamie Hayden, Dara Lal. And then Wild Blue Yonder, the cast list says starring David Tennant, Catherine Tate, redacted. So that's interesting, because it gives us a nothing, but then also it's hiding 3 cast members. So you can assume that one of those cast members will probably be voicing the droid that we've seen, that sort of circular, spherical-looking robot that we've seen. But yeah, it's very interesting. I don't really know what else to say about that. There's obviously a lot of theories that this is going to be the episode where there's going to be cameos. I feel if there's going to be any cameos in the 60th, like big ones, it'll be in this episode. Because there is nothing we know about this, really, other than that they're trapped on a spaceship, there's no TARDIS, maybe no Sonic. Thanks to the DM Mozzarella, or the D Mozzarella, for following me over on Twitch. I hadn't advertised that yet, so that's great. And for those interested, we will be streaming on Twitch after this live stream. We'll be streaming Doctor Who Flash games, so feel free to stick around for the Twitch live stream after the Who Bulletin, where we're going to be playing lots of nostalgic Doctor Who fan games, which is Doctor Who games generally. But yeah, this article doesn't really give away much. It just kind of gives you a bit of a breakdown of it. They talk about the HADs and the TARDIS. That's actually like in the quote here. Where the Doctor talks about that and explains why the TARDIS has disappeared, explaining that they're in the middle of some sort of hostile action. But yeah, I have some theories on who the redacted people might be. Go on, give us your theories. Give us your theories. So for me, I feel like there's going to be... For maximum excitement, if I was going to be like properly gassed about this, I think one of them has to be Matt Smith. And I don't think that's going to happen, but I think that would probably surprise me the most if it was an older Doctor, but like not an old Doctor, but a Doctor from New Who. You know what I mean? Because I think like Classic Who has had a lot of Classic Who's had a lot of love over the years, and rightfully so. It's been amazing that we've managed to see all the classic Doctors back. That was at one time like a pipe dream that was almost like never going to happen. So it's amazing to see that. But that being said, we haven't seen Smith since Deep Breath, really. We haven't seen Capaldi since Twice Upon a Time. We haven't seen Eccleston. We probably won't ever see Eccleston again on TV. And then like the companions and stuff, you know, like Donna coming back's amazing, but like what about Martha? I don't really feel like I need to see Rose because she already made a return. But like Amy, Rory, any of these people, any of these characters would be interesting to see and why they would do it. So I think that'd be interesting. Alternate 13th. So okay, one of them feels like it's to be Ncuti Gatwa. One of them is perhaps another Doctor like McGann or Smith. The third is Carol Ann Ford. I feel I can't fucking remember that. I feel Susan will be in the 60th. And here makes the most sense. I think you could be right, actually, given that Susan, or Carol Ann Ford, was at the premiere for the Star Beast, and yeah, alongside many other Doctors and other companions. However, they all were in Tales of the TARDIS. They all worked with Russell recently. So Carol Ann Ford being in the 60th would make some sense, I'd say, and would be nice to see. I still don't know why the show's never done anything with that. Even just like a one-off episode that explores that. Would have been interesting. You know, she's the Doctor's granddaughter. She's the first ever companion. It was, you know, that is interesting. And I think you're right about Ncuti Gatwa. I think Ncuti Gatwa will be one of these cast members, and I feel like another Doctor would be good. Maybe McGann, sure. I think I'd kind of prefer to see Smith, but then, I don't know, I don't want to see Smith outright. You know, I don't want to just see him coinciding with David Tennant. I kind of want to see Smith return in a different capacity. You know, like, I don't know, cameos or something. You know what would be the best for me is I'd love to see this 14th Doctor in this episode have to relive moments from his life, and we see flashes from other series and stuff. Like, could you imagine, like, seeing David Tennant basically put into these scenes? I think it'd be fascinating. I think it really would be fascinating. Would you want to see Susan return regenerated? No, I don't think I would, because Carol Ann Ford's still alive, and she's still pretty good, and she's, like, quite wholesome, and I think it's a waste of opportunity if she's here to then not bring her back. It really pissed me off with Nicholas Courtney, because he was fucking, like, alive and well enough to film through series 1 to 5. And then from Series 6, like, as soon as Nicholas Courtney dies, they reference the Brigadier, like, every fucking other episode. And they bring in Kate Stewart as, like, a Brigadier replacement. And they keep referencing that family. They do the whole Cyber Brig thing. They do the Brigadier, you know, the whole Lethbridge Stewart family chain and all that sort of thing. Not complaining. I just feel like it annoys me when Doctor Who waits for an actor to die before using their character again. It just seems a bit fucking weird to me. But I would quite like to see Carol Ann Ford return as Susan at some point, in some capacity. It's something that's never been done, and I don't think it's something that can really be done in like a Tales of the TARDIS kind of thing. As nice as it would be, I think it trivialises it, and I'd like to actually see it in the show used as a dramatic plot point. I think that'd be way more interesting. Yeah, and that's the other thing is, let's have a look. I can't remember where it is in this article, but he definitely does mention. I'll read it out here. So, in one of the previous issues of Doctor Who magazine, Russell teased that the following 5 words will appear in Wild Blue Yonder: Southampton, vegetable, bean, starlight, and flux. And he is said in this article that the history of the flux and the timeless child is dealt with very slightly in this episode, to acknowledge the brilliant work Chris Chibnall, former showrunner, did, and to say that's absolutely part of our history as well. And then he follows it up by saying 3 more words: Fenslaw, Collis, Brait. 3 words, 3 hidden cast members. Maybe that relates. I don't know. But yeah, that's interesting. And yeah, for me, I think it would be cool to see that if they were going to do something like that, kind of making it a bit like a clip show, but having the Doctor relive traumatic experiences from their life. You know, stuff like, you know, saying goodbye to River Song again. You know, seeing Alex Kingston in a context that makes sense. Something about the Flux. You know. Not being able to save someone, maybe, or Village of the Angels, or so, just something involved with that, where we just see David Tennant's Doctor placed into these scenes. The set seems to be like a sort of spaceship kind of thing. It looks like, you know, David Tennant's like screaming, saying, "Why does it have to be this?" It makes me think. It always made me think that there's going to be some sort of involvement with older moments from Doctor Who that are going to be more significant. Now, and especially with the 60th anniversary, it's like a no-brainer to me to sort of relive some of those moments. And I don't think you should do it by bringing back just every old actor who's been in the show before. I think you need to do it by try something a bit different. Let's relive some of those scenes. Let's give the Doctor some traumatic memories. Let's put the Doctor back in the Time War for 30 seconds. Let's see that gorgeous visual, and then get pulled back out of it. David Tennant's 14th Doctor in the place of other Doctors in different episodes, like reliving those memories almost. And it could also play into Donna as well. Donna is going to have memories. We don't know if she gets all of her memories of the Doctor back. We don't know what the extent of that is. There will be traumatic memories in her brain as well. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Quick flash to Tennant doing the wall breaking scene from Heaven Sent would be insane. Like, think about that. It would be amazing. I really hope Jodie's era is referenced in the future and not forgotten. Well, it's going to be. I mean, as I say, in this episode, it's going to be referenced. In the same way, though, that you can't expect things to be carried over too strictly. You know what I mean? Like, Jodie's era will be referenced as much as any other era would be, you know? Like, you've got, you know, like Jodie's era didn't really acknowledge any of, like, the Capaldi era stuff, you know, when the Master came back. And that was probably really frustrating for Capaldi fans when the Master came back and nothing was acknowledged about the Series 10 finale, which was kind of left up in the air as to the placement of different Masters. But yeah, I think it's great that Russell's acknowledging it and working Flux and the Timeless Child into the story somehow. And I think it's really good to acknowledge and mention that that is not being forgotten about. It is being, like, alluded to, and it is being mentioned and acknowledged. It's not going to be part of the story because the new production team, and obviously as a new set of writers, they're going to want to tell their own story with the show and take it in its own direction from here. And that's the same with any era. Chris Chibnall did the same, Stephen Moffat did the same. Every showrunner comes in and should bring a new way to kind of push the trajectory of the show on for the next few years. And I think that's their job, but they don't have to go back and clean up anything that's been left over from the previous era that still needs to be resolved. Like, I don't think we should find out any more about the Timeless Child in these specials, because I think the time for that was then, and it wasn't finished off then. So I feel like, or it did. I personally am a fan of the idea that we do leave it a little bit vague and we kind of leave that as a satisfying ending. Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. So I think that the fact that the Flux and Timeless Child are being acknowledged so early on in Wild Blue Yonder is great, and it means that little things and references will probably get brought back. I don't expect to see any big, like, returning monsters from Jodie's era. I can't honestly think of that many big returning monsters from Jodie's era that would work. Demons of the Punjab, maybe. I couldn't even tell you what they are. What their alien name is. I'm trying to think. Yeah, but, like, you know, when Stephen Moffat took over in Series 5, like, he moved on and created his own vision and era and did a whole, like, big reset. But he did reference stuff like the Dalek invasion of Earth in Series 4 and how Amy should remember that. What I find interesting, right, about this is that every showrunner comes in and sort of resets the ballot of, like, what the history of the show is. Obviously, the history of the show is still there, so, you know, everything that happened in the Doctor Who universe has happened. But the interesting thing for me is, like, some things aren't acknowledged. So, when, you know, because you can't expect that, it's too much to expect. So Ryan and Yaz technically would have been children at the time of Children on Earth. Technically, you know, they may well have been around when the Dalek invasion was happening in Series 4. These things they're around for these things, but it's not mentioned on like a massive scale. And then you're bringing back Donna and her family, and those memories from that era anyway, which has been forgotten about by companions in between. And I think that's just interesting. I wonder how that's going to be dealt with, if at all. It might just sort of be a case of just kind of continuing. Thajarians, that's it, you're right. The Pating would be interesting. I'm trying to think of like the monsters from Jodie's era that would really work being brought back. And there's nothing for, I mean, I guess the Stenza could potentially work, not Tim Shaw specifically, but the Stenza as like a warrior race could definitely be used again in like another context. The remnants from the big bits of paper that would talk in Ghost Monument, don't think they're ever coming back, not gonna lie. Big spiders, probably not. Space racist, probably not. Pating, possibly. That's probably one that actually could reappear again. Thajarians again, probably could. Kablam Men, probably could. Skithra, probably could. The Morax from the Witchfinders. I think the Witchfinders is really underrated. Love that episode. I actually love the Witchfinders. I don't know why. Like, every time I think about that episode, I'm like, that's a really good episode. It's like, it's not perfect, but like, I just kind of love it, you know? I kind of love like the design of it, the vibe of it, the whole like era of it. I think it's just really cool. But yeah, love that. That's really exciting. Should we talk about the big news and start? Solitract again, like, oh man, every time I remember Series 11, I'm like, oh yeah, that was actually really, really good. I started to kind of I never not liked Jodie's era. I just liked it less than other eras, but more towards the end. Like, I absolutely loved like Series 11. Thank you, Lucy Word, for the £5 super chat. Really, really greatly appreciate it. I missed the first 90 minutes of the stream. Sorry if you've already answered this. Do you think the RTT2 era will mention or retcon the Timeless Child? Well, thank you, Lucy Word, again for the donation. I really, really greatly appreciate it. It means a massive amount, and it's really, again, thank you again for supporting myself as a content creator and as a streamer. We're here every week, and it's a pleasure to have these chats and theories and all that sort of thing. It hasn't been... Well, it actually has been answered. So in the recent Doctor Who magazine, and I'll go over it again because you did do a super chat, so that's only fair enough. It was mentioned in the recent Doctor Who magazine for the article for Wild Blue Yonder that... Let's get to it. Russell has been quoted in saying that the history of the Flux and the Timeless Child is dealt with very slightly in this episode being Wild Blue Yonder, to acknowledge the brilliant work that Chris Chibnall did, and to say that's absolutely part of our history here as well. And I think that's the answer that you might be looking for. So it will be acknowledged, and it will be mentioned, and it will be confirmed that that is in the same world as this. But it probably won't be a big plot point. It will just be like, oh yeah, the Flux happened, and this happened, and this happened. Oh, and the Timeless Child, like, oh, William Hartnell wasn't my first incarnation, or something like that. I think that would be kind of cool. Series 10 and Series 11 being back-to-back with the most refreshing feel for the series feels very cool. Yeah, I feel like if they got the branding whole thing that Doctor Who's got now, with like the Whoniverse and all that sort of thing then, I think they would have been in for a real treat with those two series. Like, back-to-back, they were very good. Series 11 felt the most, like, traditional Doctor Who than I've ever seen. Maybe it wasn't, like, exciting for big, like, story arcs or anything. I don't think it was in that respect. But what I did like about it is it was about that sense of adventure. It felt very much like classic Who, for positives and negatives. Like, I don't think the writing was like perfect. It's not the favourite style of writing that I've seen in Doctor Who, but it was still great, and I loved a lot of the episodes in that series. Even like the Ghost Monument is quite fun. People slag off the Ghost Monument, and fair enough, but I quite like it. It's daft and it's alien and it's out there, and it's just refreshing to see Doctor Who filmed in like a new place that isn't just a quarry. I loved that. It was entertaining. And Series 12 was good as well. I'm not a big fan of Spyfall when I go back and watch it. It feels like they've crammed in a lot of stuff there. And it's good, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. The whole thing with the Kasavin and Daniel Barton doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know where that was going, what the Kasavin even were. That's the one thing I didn't like about the Jodie era, is they kind of brought in monsters and ideas that would make you go, oh, what's this? And then it never answers, and it's sort of like, oh, cool. But not in like the Midnight Monster or like the Listen Monster kind of way where you don't know, and that's the creepiness of it. Like, the Kasavin weren't that scary, but they were intriguing, and then it didn't answer the question of what they were or what it even meant, and then they're probably never going to come back, so that's cool. But yeah. But Series 11 I loved. And the beginning of Series 12 was good. Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror was quite fun. Orphan 55 was shit, obviously. But like campy fun shit, you know, it was like a classic Doctor Who in that respect. And I quite like Fugitive, but I don't really like Praxius or what the fuck? What's the one with the fingers? What is the one with the fingers? I can't even remember. Someone's gonna have to remind me. Everyone said about the Sea Devils coming back, and I was like, oh yeah, I would eat my hat if they were Sea Devils, because they didn't look anything like Sea Devils. They looked more like the monsters from... I can't remember. Oh my god, what the fuck's it called? The William Hartnell one. Keys of Marinus? Yeah. Yeah. Can you hear me? Fuck's sake. Yeah, that's it. Didn't like that story. Not Doctor Who related, so if you want to answer on Twitch instead, don't worry. But what's your opinion on Trish being voted out in Big Brother? Yeah, I'm happy to talk about that. It doesn't have to be Doctor Who related. It surprised me. It did surprise me. She was one of my favourites to win. And then past tweets came up, and you sort of think, ooh, shit, maybe she isn't great. But, yeah, you know, it would have been a shame if she'd won, got all that money, people had voted her through, and then people found the old tweets. That would just be really tragic, wouldn't it? So, I guess it's fine, and you have to expect it. There was a lot of people up for eviction, and it was just going to be the vote split 1v4. So, yeah, it was no real surprise. And actually, to be honest, I've actually been enjoying the show more without the drama as much. Like, I feel like there's some drama, which is nice, and you can get like passionate about it, but she kind of brought the drama a little bit, so I'm kind of excited to see her go in the nicest way possible. I wonder if the scenes in the Daleks include Caroline 4. That would be super emotional. I wonder. Yeah, because they did say they were doing new stuff for the Daleks, but I wonder if that's just dialogue though. But I don't even think Series 12 was that brilliant. I think it had some really good standouts, but I think I actually think the problem came with the story arc stuff. I was a bit like, oh, not sure. Honestly, not sure. I'd like the Timeless Child stuff. I'm just disappointed that it didn't really go anywhere. But yeah, Big Brother's just come back. It's been off the air for a few years, and it's just come back this year. I mentioned dialogue that was always said, other than getting another colorization next year. I think the colorization stuff's super interesting. I don't really know much about the process of it or what it entails, so I'm not going to really talk much about it because I'm sort of excited for it and I'll be interested to see what it's like. But I don't really know much about it. Maybe a new intro and outro with Caroline Ford. Maybe. And then we've also got this news. So we knew that we just knew with Children in Need coming up. I said this months ago. I said that there would be a Children in Need special. When we were talking about air dates, when before that was even announced, it was sort of around the time. It was sort of like, well, it's mid-November. They'd be stupid to not do a Children in Need special, right? They've done Children in Need specials before. There haven't been many in the last few years. It's got to be said. I don't think there's been actually. Has there been any skits like Children in Need bits with Jodie Whittaker other than like a scene? I think there's like a scene from like Kablam, like because it was like the next episode and it was airing at this time. But other than that, I don't remember there being anything in Jodie's era or anything in Capaldi's era other than like a cold open thing about like Pudsey and stuff, like calling the TARDIS or whatever. So this might be the first big skit in years. The big ones, the notable ones, are Born Again and Time Crash. And then also we just have to look at other mini-sodes as well. Night of the Doctor, again, was a big mini-sode. I don't think that was anything to do with Children in Need, but I wouldn't be surprised given the time frame that it came out in. In fact, I'm actually kind of tempted to have a look at that one. Night of the Doctor. It aired on 16th of November, 2013. I wonder if it actually did. It would kind of make sense, wouldn't it? First broadcast 14th of November 2013, which is exactly 10 years ago today. Which would mean the broadcast of the episode came as a surprise to viewers as it was announced via Twitter less than an hour before its release. The appearance of Paul McGann was similarly unexpected. The mini-episode was intended to be released during the actual week of the anniversary, but it was brought forward owing to the fact that its existence, as well as the surprise appearance as McGann as the 8th Doctor, were about to be leaked. Cool. It was made available on YouTube, its iPlayer service, BBC Red Button. It's interesting, I thought that would have been aired on Children in Need, because it feels a bit like a Children in Need special. But it wasn't. But it was about the same length as a Children in Need special, so that's really cool. I'm expecting something similar with this. I'm expecting it not to be the same level as, like, Night of the Doctor, because that's like a regeneration, seeing McGann as the Doctor again. But this is a full scene. It's not a comedy. It's fully written, fully directed, fully scored by Murray Gold as well. And it's the first proper official canon scene with the 14th Doctor. It's not going to be a scene from the Star Beast. It genuinely is like an in-between 6-minute mini episode. It did come out on Paul McGann's birthday. That's what I realised as well, which is really cool. This is, to me, really exciting. So we knew we were going to get Children in Need. We just knew we were going to get a special. Because it's so close to the release of the 60th, they were definitely cooking something. But we have a lot of stuff to talk about because it's just great. Last night, I watched Born Again, and I watched Time Crash, again. And it was fascinating. They were both around about 6 minutes long. And this has been confirmed to be about a 5-minute minisode. So that's good. I was sort of like, okay, cool. So we kind of get the vibe of how long it's going to be, how it's going to be written, how big the story is going to be. Not that big. It's probably going to be a lot of dialogue, maybe a little bit more. And Night of the Doctor, again, Night of the Doctor was about a 6-7 minute scene. So again, about the same amount of time, which is quite exciting, because Night of the Doctor feels like a 13-minute short film, but obviously it isn't. It's quite short. So this is probably going to be the same sort of vibe as that, which is really, really exciting. And a lot of people are probably wondering, well, what's going on here? So we've got what it looks to be the Doctor on Skaro. We've got a Genesis-era Dalek here on the left, and we've also got, I can't remember the guy's name, Mawan Rizwan, who is basically playing this character here, who has the same costume and outfit as we saw from Genesis of the Daleks, the Khaled officer uniform. It is identical to that uniform. It's exactly the same one, which is super, super exciting. And pretty much all but confirms that this is being set on... this is going to be set on Skaro. Probably alongside or just before Genesis of the Daleks. Maybe it's a sequel, maybe it's a prequel, I don't really know. But this is really cool. We've got like what looks to be like a production work in progress thing for a Genesis Dalek, which is really, really cool. We've got the TARDIS in the background, sort of yellowy, sort of smoky colour. A lot of people talked about, the TARDIS interior, and we'll talk about that in just a bit. But yeah, David Tennant as the 14th Doctor, very, very exciting stuff. But a lot of people going, well, why is he on Skaro? How are they going to do this, in between? Doctor Who magazine, go and buy it. The last part of Liberation of the Daleks. So Liberation of the Daleks, spoilers here, I guess, but we're only going to go by the end scene, is that the Jules Rimet trophy melted on the TARDIS console towards the end here. Jodie's TARDIS console, funnily enough. And then he sort of makes a comment about he hopes it doesn't jam up the fast return switch before they left. He wouldn't want to be going back to Skaro in a hurry as the TARDIS disappears down a time vortex. So that would imply to me that is set exactly before. There's also a thing from Russell in the, I believe it's this one. Yeah, so this is the letter from the showrunner. Great little article from Russell that he's written here. And it ends with this. He says, and right now, the TARDIS is heading for Skaro. A wounded spaceship is heading for London, and Sean is taking an extra shift in his taxi because he's short on money. Sylvia is delivering a curry, and Donna Noble's daughter needs to go shopping for eyes. And as all these things converge, hold on tight, clutch those tins of beans, because the next earthquake is rumbling away on the horizon. Here we go again. And that is from Russell. So obviously people were a little bit like, the TARDIS is heading for Skaro. That's interesting. Again, alluding to the end of the Liberation of the Daleks comic, but also this Children in Need skit, which basically sees the Doctor on Skaro prior or around the time of Genesis of the Daleks with a Genesis Dalek shell and a Khaled officer. And then we're going to lead into the Star Beast. So my question is, I'm a bit concerned about how much this is going to be able to cover, and I absolutely adore this. Ahead of the 3 specials for the 60th anniversary, a brand new exclusive scene will have viewers smiling from ear to ear as David Tennant stars as the 14th Doctor, who shares an encounter with a mysterious new character. Uncovers an age-old mystery involving one of his oldest foes. Written by the Doctor Who showrunner Russell T Davies, this otherworldly special is made specifically for BBC Children in Need. Just before viewers hop back into the TARDIS for a brand new set of adventures for 3 specials set to coincide with the show's 60th anniversary this November. BBC Children in Need viewers will also get a glimpse at the creation of the scene in the newly announced companion series Doctor Who Unleashed, which will also feature a special treat as part of the broadcast with an exclusive behind-the-scenes clip. Every year that I was on Doctor Who, we did something for BBC Children in Need, so it feels only right to be doing something this year. Children in Need is a national tradition, it's certainly a BBC tradition, and Doctor Who is part of that. I'm so glad we're able to give Children in Need viewers that extra little treat. And Mawan says, it was such an unbelievable joy to work with my Whoniverse idols David Tennant and Russell T Davies. My inner child has been losing his mind on set. And Russell says, Doctor Who has been a fine tradition of supporting BBC Children in Need, and I hope fans and new viewers alike will be able to watch, enjoy and contribute to this wonderful cause. Very, very exciting. BBC Children in Need is on at 7 o'clock this Friday, and this will be where you'll be able to find it. So it looks like it's describing this exclusive scene will be also just on iPlayer separately, as well as the behind the scenes. So not only are we getting a special, but we're also getting our first look at Doctor Who Unleashed, the new sort of Doctor Who confidential show that we're getting. Doctor Who Unleashed will be covering the behind the scenes making of this Children in Need special, likely also to air on Children in Need, which is really cool. So there's a few questions I have. By the time we get to the end of Liberation of the Daleks in the comic, it is my belief anyway that Jodie's Sonic has been destroyed. He gets shot at by a Dalek and he gets smashed to bits. But Jodie's TARDIS is still intact, exterior and interior. The only thing that's gone wrong is that there's been a trophy that's melted on the TARDIS console. It's not damaged, doesn't need repairing. It's not immediately suggested that the interior is going to change just yet. But the sonic screwdriver's gone. So that's where Liberation of the Daleks ends. That's the end of Liberation of the Daleks. And we're starting... we are starting this with... Sorry, I'm going to rephrase that. We're starting the Star Beast, and he's already got a new sonic screwdriver. His new sonic screwdriver. And we don't know about the TARDIS interior yet, but we can presume it's getting there, or something like that. Likely because they've dismantled Jodie's TARDIS set, so unless they're using green screen or some sort of CGI elements, I doubt we'll see Jodie's interior, unfortunately, because I would quite like to see Jodie's interior. Maybe we'll see it through the flash of the door when the Doctor walks out of the TARDIS, who knows. But, yes, so this special, I think, likely needs to show the Doctor getting his new sonic screwdriver, first of all, and then also the in-between. Maybe explain something to do with the TARDIS, maybe give a reasoning for it going wrong or something like that. yeah, very exciting. But we're going to see the Doctor face off against the Daleks again. We know from Barnaby Edwards, who is the in-person Dalek guy, has been since 2005, and is still continuing to be to this day. As you mentioned that he's in this special, which implies that the Dalek here is not just a prop, but there will actually be a Dalek on set that is moving around. This being around the time of Genesis of the Daleks also kind of implies that we might have some sort of reference or hint to Davros. And the final thing that's worth mentioning from my part is I only realised last night when I watched Born Again and Time Crash is that both of those Children in Need specials, and even if you want to go throw in Night of the Doctor as well, all these specials have a version of the title sequence in the Minisode. Meaning, and especially with all the new branding, I don't think they'll be using an old Doctor Who theme anymore. I think this Friday will not just be a little mini-sode with the return of David Tennant as the 14th Doctor, the first actual scene with him on Skaro, maybe mentioning Davros. We're seeing him with some Daleks. Not only that, but we'll be seeing probably a little bit of a snippet of the new title sequence and probably the studio recording of the new theme, which is very, 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 very exciting. So, yeah, I'm very excited to see where that's going to come. I don't know exactly what the details of that are going to be, and feel free to make your own theories. I kind of want you guys to have a think about this. Like, what are you guys thinking about this? Are you excited for this? Are you not excited for this? Are you worried, concerned, or are you just bloody excited like I am? I feel like we're getting a lot from this, more than we've had from any other Children in Need in the last few years, so I'm very excited to sort of see that back. Our little guest star here, he's not been announced what character he's playing. I think it's sort of his, like, on his CV it says like Mr. Castervillain, which seems like a cover name. So maybe he's going to be a familiar character or related to a familiar character. A few people suggesting Davros himself. I'm not too sure, but I'd be interested. But yeah, it's very, very exciting. I'm gassed for this. If not just to see a mini-sode, like I just want to see like David Tennant as the 14th Doctor. Like, I'm so excited for the Star Beast at this point that I'm just like, I'll take anything. So to know that we're going to get something a week early is even more exciting. We're going to get like a 5-minute scene this Friday. Like, not tomorrow, not the next day, but the day after, that evening. BBC Children in Need. And then the finale of Big Brother, so it's a great night, really. But I'm gassed for this. I'm really, really excited to see it. I don't know if I'll do any sort of coverage of it on the night, but we'll definitely be talking about it on next week's episode of the Who Bulletin, so that's very exciting. We're still going, we're not going to stop now, but I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's joined the stream. That's 60 concurrent viewers, which is just insane, and I really appreciate the support for this little news series we've got going on at the moment. As it is the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who month, usually what we do on YouTube is we'll do the Who Bulletin for an hour, and then we'll go over to Twitch and play some video games. We are still doing that, but the video games that we're playing are all Doctor Who. So if you usually kind of tune out because you're not bothered about seeing anything that isn't Doctor Who related, tonight is your night, because we will basically be covering all of the old Doctor Who Flash games. You might have seen me talking about them. So I thought I'd talk about that for a little bit. I don't know if you remember the Doctor Who Flash games, but a lot of people were telling me about them today. This would be good, George. Yeah, just show who you're subscribed to. That's good. True Geordie, that's not embarrassing. I don't even watch him anymore. That's hilarious. Way back in the 2000s, when I first got into Doctor Who, there were loads of web games on the Doctor Who website, and I absolutely adore pretty much all of them. I think they're great, they're really nostalgic, and for a long time, since Flash Player was discontinued and just generally like sources and access to a lot of them, you can't really find them much anymore. However, I have a Flash Player emulator, and I actually have a lot of links to these old games. So in about 10 minutes, we're going to head over to twitch.tv/GBSheard, my Twitch channel, where I usually play video games every Tuesday, and we're going to be playing pretty much Doctor Who Flash games all night, so I'd absolutely love if you guys were to join us. Yeah, we'll be playing Slovene Surfer, alright, and it'll be a lot of fun. I asked you guys what your favourite one was, so we'll talk about that. Slovene Surfer, obviously, is a classic one. Eye of the TARDIS, I can't really remember this one, but I'm excited to kind of see it again if we're able to get it working. That's always the thing with these. If they work, they work. If they don't work, they don't work. But most of them will likely to work. I don't think Attack of the Grass does, but again, we'll see. Attack of the Grass was a great one. Loved that. Like a specially shot game with David Tennant as the Doctor. Around the time of Series 2 starting, so that was really cool. Not a Doctor Who game, but I used to love the Sarah Jane Adventures Academy game, played it for hours. Also a great shout. Attack of the Grass, Dalek Breakout, Dalek vs Cybermen, Cyber Assault. Ood Escape was too difficult. Again, can only remember a few of these, but we're going to be playing them all tonight, so I'm really, really excited about that. We're not playing Doctor Who Top Trumps yet, but you never know. My aim is, basically for those who are new to this, or new to my Twitch or anything like that, what we usually do is, we usually do the Who Bulletin here on YouTube for an hour. We usually do the Who Bulletin here on YouTube for an hour from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock every single Tuesday. And then after, we go over to twitch.tv/GBSheard. I'll put a link in the chat now if you want to go and follow me. We usually go over to here. What am I doing? We usually go over to here, twitch.tv/GBSheard, and we usually play some video games. But because obviously 60th anniversary of Doctor Who, this entire month we're going to be playing Doctor Who stuff. Last week we did a fantastic Doctor Who live quiz with Josh Carr, which was absolutely fantastic and I absolutely loved. And this week we're going to be playing some Doctor Who flash games. And obviously November isn't just 2 weeks long, so the next 2 weeks we'll also be playing Doctor Who stuff over on Twitch. I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to be doing yet. It depends how this goes, but we'll be playing basically all the Doctor Who online flash games that you remember and love from your childhood. And if there's any that don't work or we can't find, we'll try and find some on the internet as well, see if we can get our hands on it. So I'm very, very excited. Who trumps? Oh, maybe I do have Who trumps then. I don't know. I don't know that one, to be honest. Definitely send me a link to the Doctor Who game creator. I don't have that one. So yeah, please do head over to twitch.tv/GBSheard. Drop me a follow on Twitch if you haven't already. If you haven't got an account, feel free to make one. Drop me a follow anyway. If you drop me a follow now, it will actually appear on screen for all your viewing pleasure, and I'll be able to give you a big ol' shout out. And if I don't give you a shout out now, I'll definitely give you a shout out when we start streaming on Twitch in about 10 minutes time. So yeah, what I'm basically saying is, please do stick around after we've done the Who Bulletin here. Head over to Twitch after we're done, and we'll be going live straight away. It's going to be pretty much seamless. We're going to be going straight over there and playing some Doctor Who games, so I'd love to have you guys along. But yeah, in the meantime, let's talk about Children in Need. What do you guys think about the Children in Need minisode? What do you think about the announcement of it? We were always probably going to get one, but what do you think now that it's been confirmed, and also that it's a story on Skaro, and isn't a comedy, but is a serious 5-6 minute minisode that is actually coming out in 3 days' time from now? Like, how amazing is that? How exciting is that, you know? That's gas. That's so exciting. We got our first follower there. Thank you very much to Doctor Who 2023 for following me over on Twitch. Much appreciated, my friend. Potentially resurrecting my childhood here. Yes, we'll be playing a lot of these games, and I'm very, very excited. Send a link in the chat. It should work. And if it doesn't, then send it to me on Twitter, maybe. We'll open it on there. But yeah, if it's a link to another Flash game, I'll be absolutely happy to take it. A lot of the old Flash games don't really work anymore because of the whole Flash player thing. A little fly. No, I don't see it on here. Tag me in it on Twitter and send me a link. We'll open it on there and we'll play that on the stream in a bit. But yeah, as far as the meantime's concerned, yeah, let me know what you guys think about the special. I'm very excited for it, and I think like there's just so much to think about and so much to talk about. I'm gonna have myself a cookie. I'm going to have myself a cookie. So yeah, in terms of the Who Bulletin, going forward, obviously we're getting closer to the 60th now, so week by week. Next week we're probably going to talk about this scene and talk about theories ahead of the 60th anniversary specials, the head of the Star Beast, because obviously next week will be our last episode of the Who Bulletin before the new Doctor Who 60th anniversary specials, which is very, very exciting indeed. So we'll be doing that, and then the following week we will be... I don't even know, I don't think we'll be streaming on the Tuesday, but maybe the Wednesday, and we'll be talking about the latest Doctor Who episode, reviewing it in full detail, and having a whale of a time with it. So we'll definitely be doing that, and then the weeks after, with the Who Bulletin, we'll be reviewing them live. I might make YouTube videos talking about them and reviewing them. I haven't quite decided yet, but what we'll definitely be doing is every single week, mostly on Tuesdays, at the same time, we'll be here and we'll be talking about the episodes in full detail, breaking it down with all your guys' feedback and all your guys' thoughts on it. I am so excited that next week onwards we'll be talking about brand new Doctor Who content. So, yeah, it's a very, very exciting time. And yeah, God, it's great to see the Khalid's back as well. Yeah, cool. I'm excited for it. I love Genesis of the Daleks quite a lot. I rewatched it recently again. Yeah, it's a great story. Genesis is a classic. It's renowned as one of the best Doctor Who classic stories, one of the best stories of Doctor Who history. It's very exciting, and to see Doctor Who jump on that again is really cool. To see the Genesis Daleks in full flow, other than just bringing them back for nostalgia's sake, actually seeing them as the Daleks on screen is really cool. And if we get any mention or any way of seeing Davros, I would be absolutely elated. I don't think we're going to squeeze that into 5 minutes when there's so much going on with like the new Sonic, new Doctor, all that sort of thing. But I'm very excited if we do see like a new interpretation of a Davros or something like that. Yeah, I'm very excited, I have to say. I'm very, very, very excited about all this. And yeah, it's going to be a fun time. I'm gassed. Once again, I'll link the Twitch chat in the... I'll link the Twitch channel in the chat, so you guys can follow it and head over there. Open it up on another tab. Just all you have to do. Just click on the link, open it up in another tab next to the YouTube one. You don't have to look at it yet. Nothing's going live on it yet. But as soon as this live stream finishes, in a few minutes' time, we'll be heading over to Twitch and playing some Doctor Who Flash games. I think that's pretty much all I have to kind of say over here on YouTube. So I'm kind of... Yeah, I think I'm kind of ready to move across to Twitch. Unless there's any other questions that people want to ask before they head, but feel free to ask in the Twitch chat, feel free to ask in here. We'll be answering all the questions and all sort of theories and all that sort of thing going forward. Twitter, how will Twitter not let you? Just, there's a fucking fly on there. I knew there was a fly right in front of me. I knew there was something. Just tag me, yeah, try putting it in the Twitch chat when we go over there, and we'll talk about it on there. Or just send me a message on Twitter, or put it on a tweet and tag me in it. Either way it works. Yeah, that's the other thing. So there's an early screening of the Star Beast, but I'm hoping that people don't spoil it. As far as I'm concerned, and I've raised this before, a lot of people don't really know how to do these things. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not really that bothered about certain people in the Doctor Who community anymore, which is just basically me, like, love any content creation, absolutely happy to be a part of it, and I'm delighted with the amount of people who still want to watch my stuff that I put out. As far as I'm concerned, if anyone spoils the Star Beast because they've managed to get a lucky ticket to go and see it in Cardiff a few days before everyone else, and they put stuff on Twitter, there'll be no hesitation from me. They're getting blocked. That's just, not only is that really annoying to see, and I don't want to have to see any spoilers, but if you're going to go out your way to do that, knowing how long every Doctor Who fan's been waiting for this, and how exciting it is anyway, but to do that, yeah, it's just really poor form. So personally, that's my approach. If someone spoils it, and I see someone spoil it, I'll be blocking them. Welcome, Joel. Welcome. We'll be going over to Twitch very, very shortly. But yeah, I think we'll wrap it up here. I think we're pretty much sorted. So yeah, check out the link in the chat. I'll put it in one more time. Please go and have a look at that. As soon as this live stream finishes, we're going to be going live over on Twitch. So yeah, not really much else to say. Head over to that link now, and as soon as this live stream finishes, we'll be going live over there, and we'll be playing some Doctor Who Flash games. I really, really hope you can all join us. And yeah, see you all soon. Have a lovely evening, and if I don't see you over on Twitch, I will see you all back here, same time next week. Every Tuesday, 7 p.m.